So today we find out if good things really do come in small packages. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Joe Finley, and today we are looking at the OBSBOT Meet 2. The long-awaited sequel to the OBSBOT Meet is out today, and it promises to be smaller and more powerful, so let's take a look. In the box, you've got the documentation, the OBSBOT Meet 2, a magnetic mount, a USB-C to USB-C cable with USB-C to USB-A adapter, and a magnetic privacy cover. So not a whole heck of a lot on this camera. You can see exactly how tiny it is. On the front, you have a lens that pretty much takes up the whole front of the camera, and on the top right, you have a little indicator light so you know when it's on. On the back, you have the USB-C port to connect to the camera, and on the bottom, you have the 1/4-inch thread to hook up to a tripod or any other mount you can think of. And the magnetic mount meant for your monitor has multiple access points. That was entirely too many M's for me to say at once, but talk is cheap. Let's take a peek at what this camera actually looks like. And this is it, and no word of a lie, on first glance, this might be the best webcam I've ever seen. So what we're looking at right now is the result of a camera with a 1/2-inch CMOS sensor and an f1.8 aperture. It's capable of 4K 30 or 1080 60 video. It's got a 79.4 degree field of view. I would like to see that a little bit closer to 90, but I mean, still, look at it. And you'll have full control over all of the camera's settings via the OBSBOT Center app. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you that right now because I got the camera ahead of time, so I didn't get an updated version of the software to be able to handle it. So in the very near future, I'm going to do a tutorial to teach you how to set it all up. When that comes out, you can check it out. There'll probably be a little link right here, and there'll be a link down in the description. And then you can see everything that it has to offer there. Hey everybody, Editor Joe here, and just as I was getting ready to export this video, the Meet 2 went live, as did all of its software support. So even though I didn't lie to you and I am doing a tutorial for this still, I just wanted to give you a really quick glimpse at what it looked like, and this is it. If you've owned any OBSBOT cameras in the past or you're familiar with OBSBOT Center, none of this is going to look particularly foreign to you. You can see here I have my zoom controls here, so I can zoom all the way in, and then I can use this joystick to move around as I see fit. Across the top, you can set up a number of different shots, and just by clicking on one of these, hitting a hotkey, or using the remote control, you can switch between them. You got your image settings here, and like I said, you've got things like your shutter speed, ISO, autofocus, white balance, basically all the types of settings you would expect to find in a good webcam software. Under more, you're going to get a little bit more into the weeds about the general controls of the overall camera, and then across the top, you have a number of controls. You can actually preview your camera, you can put it to sleep or resume its function, you can actually record from this app or use it as a virtual camera. You can enter beauty mode, so you can fix this. You can set up your remote control, or you can do so much more. So make sure that you stay tuned for this tutorial, because it's not just going to help for the Meet 2, it's going to help for every OBSBOT camera. Now let's get back to the video. But what you're seeing right now is the result of me just plugging this in and turning it on in OBS. And just like that, with the tiniest adjustment, I felt like my face was a little bit washed out. I just lowered the exposure settings via the video controls in OBS, and this is what we're looking at. The detail on this is absolutely spectacular, unfortunately for me, because I don't have one of those traditional smooth faces, but you can take this thing even further to really show off the details. So if I zoom all the way in on this face, good lordy, there is a lot of detail in there. What do you think? Now, the OBSBOT Meet 2 has a new autofocus technology called phase detection autofocus, and it's supposed to be a much quicker autofocus. So let's put that to the test right now by doing this. That was rapid. And what's more important is it doesn't seem to be doing a lot of that searching. Now, if I were to set up the focus manually right now, I'd only have about a foot one way or the other in terms of actually staying focused on my face. The focus on me should be changing as I'm doing this. The Meet 2 comes in 3 colors: space gray, aurora green, and cloud white. OBSBOT was kind enough to send me the cloud white and the aurora green because they recognize that they always send me black and gray stuff. But let's just take a minute to compare the video quality of this tiny little camera that's actually sitting on top of my Sony a7 III right now. And while, yeah, the color accuracy is a little bit better on the Sony, which it better be for like $2,000 more, this is not a quality difference where I can recommend you spending that much more money. I will tell you right now that the 2 OBSBOT Meet 2s that I have in this house right now are going to become a major part of my production. Something I don't do an awful lot of in these webcam videos is actually test out the microphone, because I always recommend against it. I've got a microphone in front of my face. I don't need that one for any real special purpose. We know that for people who are working from home and things like that, the microphones are generally going to be fine. It's going to be as good as your laptop can afford you anyways. But I figured we'd give it a listen. So here it is right now. This is actually the microphone coming off of the OBSBOT Meet 2 right now. It's interesting because when you set it up in OBS, it doesn't automatically show up as an audio source. You actually have to go in and create an audio source for it. But I can see by my meters that it is definitely picking up noise, which makes sense. I actually have an air conditioner running right now. So I thought, why not apply some noise reduction to see if that helps at all? So now we can give it a listen with NVIDIA noise removal turned on, and we can actually compare what it was like before. But now we can go back and forth between having the noise reduction turned on and when the noise reduction is turned off, and you can see what the difference is here. Now, I mean, it's pretty obvious since I'm using NVIDIA noise removal that not everybody's going to have this level of noise reduction on, but it is important to know that if you're using this for some level of work from home, any kind of teleconferencing or anything like that, that programs like Teams and Zoom and things like that are still going to have some level of noise reduction, so it's not just going to sound raw no matter what. And it does also help to not have an air conditioner or fan or anything like that right next to your microphone. Now, if you'll indulge me for a minute to talk about the size of these cameras again, this is what I'm talking about. This is some James Bond spy camera stuff. And just imagine seeing the quality that you do right now, what a little legion of these things can do in your setup compared to more expensive cameras. Like right now, I have a really expensive mirrorless camera. Say I didn't, say it was gone, and this was my main camera. That would probably be okay. Again, I'd like to see a little bit bigger of a field of view, but other than that, it'd be fine. And what that would allow me to do is actually bring all my monitors in close together, because that's only taking up just a teeny tiny bit of space. Then from there, picture I do a podcast, which I do a podcast. And then just say I had two of these cameras, which I do have two of these cameras, and I set them on either side of the desk, getting a one shot of the other person, while my mirrorless, which does exist in this scenario, is the two shot for both of us. Now I've got three solid angles and I've taken up no extra space on the desk. I could have a fourth camera that's an overhead camera for when I'm doing unboxings. I could have a fifth camera that has the whole setup done. They take up virtually no space. I could literally fit 6 of them on top of my phone. Now, something I noticed about the original OBSBOT Meet is it got really hot over time. I've had this plugged in all day and it's warm, but it is nowhere near as hot as the original one was. So it's been operating more efficiently and it has had zero quality degradation over the course of the entire day. So I want to leave you with one last thing before I go and tell you to buy a bunch of these cameras, and that's the price. The OBSBOT Meet 2 is $129 US. I'm going to say that one more time. They are $129 US. When you think of the vast majority of the webcams that I've actually reviewed on here, anything that was that price was usually not the best. And the ones that I've been praising the most recently have been pretty on the high end. So if you have a webcam like this that has all that quality, except you could buy 2 of them for the same price, why wouldn't you? But what do you think about the OBSBOT Meet 2 and its quality, size, and price? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notifications when new videos come out. If you want to keep this conversation going and talk about other gear, make sure to join my Discord. The link's down below. If you're interested, I have another YouTube channel. It's about Disney and theme parks and all things travel. It's called Miscast Members. You can go and subscribe to that. And what the heck, why don't you go follow me on Twitch? Now that the kids are back in school, I'll probably squeeze in a lot more streams. And you can find me there at twitch.tv/miscastjoe. And that's going to be it for this one. Why don't you check out one of these videos, a couple of other smart webcam videos you might want to check out, make an informed decision. And until next time, my friends, let's get to work.